So if you do this with your trail heel in the downswing, you'll never be a consistent ball striker. So that is that lifting up movement of that trail heel. So you're coming down the downswing and that heel is lifting vertically, dead straight up like this. Now, you might be thinking, well, I see loads of players on tour do that. I see Justin Thomas do it, for example. Colin Morikawa does it too. They're good players, right? Yeah, they are. They're really good players. But what we're going to talk about later on is they match it up with a specific move, which is incredibly difficult to do for amateur golfers. So I see on the daily basis with lessons, golfers having this crazy right heel driving up move. Now, what that does, why that's so damaging for the everyday golfer, is that will force the right knee forward. So if the right knee forces forward because of the heel driving up, that doesn't just force the knee forward, it also forces the right hip forward. And if that right hip's moving forward, it's also moving the entire right side of the body forward. Now, what is holding on to the golf club? The right hand's holding on to it, isn't it? So that means if this trail heel is lifting up and the right hand's holding on to it, so that's where that club is going to massively diverge outside the ball line. If the right side's moving this way, everything is getting closer to the golf ball. That means the club is going to be diverged on the outside of the ball line. You're going to shank the golf ball. You're going to hit these swipey fades. It's not going to be fun. You could even be someone who would react to it when this club starts diverging outwards by standing up the upper body to get the hands pulled back in. So you can see those different scenarios that are absolutely what I'm seeing pretty much every single golfer do when they have this fault. Makes for really, really inconsistent ball striking. You're never going to have consistent control of path, so you're not going to be able to control that curvature of the shot very well. Might be different on every single shot. That might sound familiar. And you are going to struggle with probably the worst shot in golf, hosel shots. It's not fun at all. What we most consistently see players do, who, let's say, the best players in the world who don't have that movement in, not just a couple of outliers, we'll see them keep that trail heel very much on the ground, not keeping pressure on it, but they'll be keeping that trail heel on the ground as they bank their foot to where their foot will start rolling in this fashion here as they're turning through the shot. They're still getting their pressure left, but that heel isn't driving up. That's not going to force the right-hand side of the body towards the golf ball, so they're going to have brilliant control of their club path and how their club in its sweet spot travel is going through the golf ball here. So much more consistent of a way to swing through the golf ball. So let's talk about how Justin Thomas makes that fault actually work quite nicely for him in his golf swing. So like I said, he does something that's very unobtainable for pretty much everyone other than Justin Thomas. Let's say Colin Morikawa is another one who does it. So we know, okay, that movement has this effect on the right-hand side of the body, pushes it forward. So how his body then counteracts that is by having a lot of trail side bend, a lot of this crunching. So that will offset the amount of that club being pushed forward. So more trail side bend will then put that club more on path. But what he does, which is absolutely crazy, and it's the same with Colin Morikawa as well, they get this crazy rotation going through that golf ball at the same time doing it. That's really difficult to have this movement coming up with that heel really driving up. The trail side bend and then rotation, that would actually destroy most of the golfers out their backs. So that's where for them, they can make that move work because they have that crazy almost abnormality of managing to have all those different dynamic movements happening at the same time. It's quite incredible, really. So that's why when we see players do these unique things, don't just say that this move is fine to do because they do it. You have to understand it deeper than that. Otherwise, you're going to go down a rabbit hole of your golf swing where you just haven't improved it because you saw Justin Thomas do it. Remember, elite athletes, they're elite athletes. I'm certainly not. I can't make that move work. So let's talk about a drill to get the good movement into your swing. So here we go, simple drill here. All we need to do, grab a club. So preferably about a wedge would do. Put that underneath your trail heel. So now, very self-explanatory here. If you lift up that trail heel in that downswing, the club's plummeting to the ground. So that's why I say a wedge, for example, because the wedge will have more of a pronounced drop. You could hear it a little bit more rather than a 7-iron. You probably wouldn't feel it dropping. You wouldn't hear it dropping either because it's not traveling down that much. So I want to keep this underneath my trail heel all the way till post impact, so after impact. The key here though is we want to be keeping it underneath our heel, but we don't want the pressure to be back here at the same time. We want that pressure to still be in that left leg. So I want you to do some practice swings first to really get the pressure, still feeling like it's in the left leg and keeping this underneath the heel. So I've got literally probably about 95% of all my weight in this left leg right now, still underneath the heel. So I know a lot of you are going to practice this and you're going to think that's really hard to do. And then you think, how do I do it better? Just practice it more. That's generally it. Just get more practice in with it. So until you can get that feeling in practicing and then hit some balls. So then hitting some balls, what we're going to look like a little bit more like that. So you can see, get it underneath that heel all the way until post impact here. So another one underneath the heel all the way until post impact. There we go. I don't want to, if I can grab it here, be doing what I'm going to show you here, where I'm really going to let it go early. And it's not going to be the best of strikes or turns through the golf ball by any means. Almost missed it. I literally did almost miss it. So, guys, if you want to have that more consistent ball striking, you want to control your variables going through impact. So calming down that trail heel lift will do that for you, because then you're not diverging that club outside the ball line. So you want things to be consistent at the bottom of your swing, not all over the place. That's why that trail heel movement is very, very important. So if you enjoyed this video, of course, click that like button if you want more golf instruction just like this. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell button too to be notified every time I put out a video. So control this, you're going to be playing better golf.